All right, let's jump right into today's explainer. We're exploring a story that perfectly and honestly quite terrifyingly illustrates what happens when modern technology collides with the paranormal. Today, we're breaking down a 19-year-old named Akash's chilling encounter with someone or something named Priya. It's an absolute nightmare scenario that shows how a single, desperate swipe on a screen can invite something completely inexplicable into your life. So, let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Did you get hurt? I hugged you really hard in my imagination. Now, on the surface, maybe that just sounds like a slightly quirky, maybe overly intense text from a brand new dating app match. Nothing too crazy. But as you'll see, this specific message acts as the pivot point where a totally relatable modern dating story violently shifts into an absolute paranormal nightmare.
Section 1. The perfect match. To really understand how this all started, we have to look at the escalation. Picture this. It's a freezing winter night in Delhi, and it's Akash's 19th birthday. But he's actually locked inside a bathroom during his own party, crying. He's utterly devastated because his girlfriend, Mahika, recently cheated on him and just publicly announced her new relationship online. He's feeling completely helpless. So, at 2:30 a.m., in a moment of sheer desperation and anger, he downloads a dating app. By 3 a.m., literally almost instantly after creating his profile, he gets a notification. It's a match. The profile belongs to a beautiful girl named Priya. They start chatting and a connection forms incredibly fast. The vibe is so good that they set up an in-person visit for 8 a.m. the very next day.
But before that visit even happens, we get our first major scare. The party finally clears out, and Akash is lying in bed just chatting with Priya on his phone. He tells her he's feeling down and really needs a virtual hug. She tells him to close his eyes, so he does. And right then, he physically feels two cold, physical hands grab him tightly. Completely startled, he snaps his eyes open, and the window in his room suddenly shatters right in front of him. Glass everywhere. And that is the exact, precise moment Priya sends that creepy text, "Did you get hurt? I hugged you really hard in my imagination."
Section 2. An unsettling visit.
You'd think a shattered window would be a deal breaker, right? But despite that anomaly, which he somehow tries to just rationalize away, the attention from Priya actually gives Akash a lot of comfort, so he sticks to the plan and invites her over to his flat the next night at 8 p.m., making sure his roommate Rohan is out. Now, what's really interesting here is a biological concept known as algor mortis. It's the second stage of death, characterized by the chilling of the body. When Priya arrives at his door looking beautiful, Akash embraces her, but her body is freezing cold, literally like ice. But in his naive, desperate state, Akash just brushes this visceral horror off. He assumes the brutal Delhi winter weather has just chilled her to the bone.
This is where the tension builds masterfully. Seeing she's freezing, Akash offers her his hoodie to warm up. He turns around to close his large closet, and as he glances into the closet mirror, he sees something unimaginable. Sitting on his bed in the reflection is a horrifying, decaying entity with rotting flesh. He absolutely panics and whips around, but it's just Priya. She's standing by the window in reality, completely normal, smiling and offering him a birthday cake she baked for him.
Section 3. A Night of Terror.
Akash is incredibly confused, obviously, but he's reassured by her warm, sweet demeanor. So he sits on the bed with Priya, talking and eating the birthday cake. But abruptly, out of nowhere, he feels violently, unnaturally ill. We're talking severe, crippling pain radiating through his stomach and throat. He sprints to the washroom, choking and vomiting, but it's not food coming up. It's horrific, writhing black and yellow bugs pouring from his mouth. He literally can't breathe. That is, until Priya suddenly materializes right behind him. The exact second she appears, the bugs instantly vanish. Gone. She calmly claims she just got worried because the bathroom door was left open.
Somehow, Akash rationalizes this too, thinking he simply has a world-class case of food poisoning. He apologizes for ruining the date, Priya leaves, and he passes out, completely exhausted. But she doesn't stay away. Akash wakes up later in the dead of night to find Priya sitting right next to him on the bed, softly stroking his hair. She claims she forgot her phone and just couldn't bear to leave him while he was sick. Despite his groggy protests, she medicates him and forcibly wraps him in 2 or 3 heavy blankets, shivering as he is.
And this just brilliantly illustrates how a bad dream turns into a waking nightmare. When Akash finally wakes up the next morning, the room is completely transformed. It's a scene out of a horror movie. The walls are covered entirely in bloody footprints. Then he hears it, the unmistakable sound of a girl's sobbing echoing from the bathroom. He slowly, carefully approaches, looks in, and sees that same terrifying, rotting entity from the mirror. Except this time, she's standing at the sink, bleeding profusely from her eyes.
Section 4. The Guard's Dark Secret.
Akash does what literally any one of us would do. He flees the apartment in absolute blind panic. He runs down and drags the society's security guard back up to his flat to show him. But when they walk in, the room is completely normal. There are no bloody footprints, no crying, no entity in the bathroom, just a quiet, empty flat. But then, the guard drops a devastating revelation. He turns to Akash and says, "Before you moved in, this flat was empty for years. A girl's dead body was found in that bathroom. Her name was Priya." That single piece of information just completely pulls the rug out from under Akash. Everything he thought was real over the last 48 hours is instantly cast into this horrifying new light.
And if that wasn't enough to completely break his reality, we get this chilling data point: 0. The security guard checks the visitor logs and confirms that exactly 0 people entered the society gates for Akash's flat the previous night. No one came in. Meaning, Akash spent his entire evening, ate cake, and was nursed in his sleep by a deceased, malevolent entity.
Section 5. The Final Escape.
Realizing the grave, immediate danger he's in, Akash's phone starts ringing nonstop. It's Priya calling. He frantically turns the phone completely off, deletes the dating app, packs a single bag, and yanks his front door open to flee for good. But escape is never that simple, is it? Priya is standing right there in the doorway, and she is furious. Right before his eyes, her beautiful face morphs back into that rotting, decaying woman. She reaches out, grabs him by the neck, and lifts him straight into the air, choking the life out of him as she screams, "I won't let you go anywhere this time." Just as Akash's vision starts to go dark, and he's about to lose consciousness, his roommate Rohan suddenly walks through the door. And just like that, the spirit instantly vanishes into thin air.
After Rohan's sudden arrival breaks the spirit's physical hold, the two of them don't hesitate. They immediately pack up whatever they can and move out of the building entirely. Now we jump forward a few months. Akash is living in a new flat. Life has seemingly returned to normal, and he's almost managed to bury the intense trauma of what happened that weekend. Phew, safe at last, right?
Actually, scratch that, because true horror rarely just lets go. Akash is sitting at his desk late one night, totally focused on his office work. The apartment is completely quiet. And then, his old phone, the exact one he had completely powered off and shoved in a drawer months ago, suddenly flickers to life all on its own.
The screen lights up, and there's a single notification sitting there. It's a match. With shaking hands, his heart probably pounding out of his chest, Akash slowly picks up the device. But the app doesn't open. Instead, the phone's front-facing camera activates. He looks at the screen, and there, in the camera's reflection, he sees Priya, standing directly behind him, right there in his new flat.
Which brings us to the end of today's explainer, and it leaves us with a deeply, deeply unsettling thought. I really want to ask you, the next time your phone lights up in a completely empty room, are you absolutely sure you're entirely alone? Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this terrifying encounter today. Keep questioning the things you see on your screens, and I'll catch you in